Hello friend, welcome back to Acre Homestead. We are going to do a good old-fashioned Azure haul. It's been a while since I've been to Azure. I've kind of transitioned from ordering once a month to every 2 to 3 months. It seems to fit into my life a little bit better that way. And it's been a while since I've done any real bulk ordering when it comes to food. I think the last order I got a bunch of chicken food, and then I got a bunch of plant starts, but I haven't done a bulk order in a while, so I thought I would share it with you. If you are new to Azure, I can link them down below. They are a bulk buying, it's not really a club. You don't have to be a member. You make an account, but there's no fee associated with it. You pick it up once a month and you can get pretty good prices on some organic stuff. And I can get some things through Azure that I can't even get at my local grocery store. Oh, I do want to give you a couple updates before we get into the haul. I'm not only going to show you the haul, but we're going to put a bunch of it away and I'm actually going to preserve some of it and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. But I've got a couple updates. One, my mom and I have been working on a hosting course and I just finished editing all of the videos that go along with the course. It's a 5-episode course that my mom and I sit down and go through. And then along with that, there's a companion guide, which is an ebook that has all the nitty-gritty details of hosting a party hassle-free and stress-free, along with a bunch of printables to help you plan your party. And there's a really good example in there. And if you want to know how to host a party, that is going to be coming out very soon before the holidays. So it's me and my mom built this thing and I'm really excited to share it with you. So that, if you want to know more about that, I will link down in the description box where you can sign up for my newsletter. When it comes to signing up with my newsletter, I like to kind of do a little bit behind the scenes, some like life updates, free recipes, some how-tos and things like that. Usually you don't get more than 1 email a week from me, but if you do sign up, there will be some special perks for the people who do sign up and want to hear more about that course. I also have been working on a fill your freezer with homemade dough, so you can pull the dough out of the freezer anytime and bake it up to make your life easier if you want some homemade scratch-made dough. And that is going to be coming out very soon, and I will also announce that in the newsletter as well. So if you're interested in that, please check out the newsletter down below. And if you haven't already noticed, Josh finished the new website and it is beautiful. He did a fantastic job. He built it 100% from scratch. There's a beautiful print button and I just really am grateful that he was able to do that. And thank you to everyone who has seen it and given him praise. I have let him know how much you guys are enjoying the new website. So now let's get into a good old-fashioned Azure haul. First up, just some really, really basic staples. I got 50 pounds of organic white flour because I've been working on these bread dough recipes. I have been recipe testing like crazy and I have been going through a ton of white flour. This is my favorite organic flour. The first time I ever got this was actually at Costco, and you can only get 20 pounds at Costco and I can get it at a better price through Azure, so I order it in 50-pound bags. I'm gonna stick this in the freezer for at least 24 hours before I put it in my 5-gallon buckets. And then 'tis the season for canning, so I needed to get another 25-pound bag of organic cane sugar because canning season, I go through quite a bit of this making jams and barbecue sauces and all those good things. Now, one thing I do like to buy at Azure when I place an order is dairy products, because obviously we don't have a dairy cow, and so I can get organic, raw cheddar cheese, grass-fed at Azure. I cannot buy this in my local grocery store unless I go to Whole Foods or New Seasons. Those are grocery stores in my area, and they are very expensive. I can get this for a fraction of the price in bulk through Azure than I can get at my local grocery store. And I can't get it at Costco, I can't get it at Winco, and I can't get it, well, I could probably get it at Kroger, but I would still be paying an arm and a leg for it. So I went ahead and got about 10 pounds. They're about 5 pounds each, and I just keep them in my refrigerator. Sometimes I'll open this and shred the entire thing and then freeze it. You don't have to put cornstarch or anything. I'll just freeze it just like that, and it freezes beautifully. But usually I just keep it in the fridge and it's fine until I need to use it. If you keep it in its package, it can stay in its package for months. Now, this was a impulse buy. I saw this chocolate milk. I thought it would be good in my coffee, so I bought it. 100% impulse buy. Never bought it. I don't know how I'm gonna like it, but that is that. And then I got some of this same brand as the raw cheddar cheese, cream cheese. I've been eyeing this for a long time. And I finally decided to go ahead and try it because on my list of things I want to try to learn to do is make bagels. And so it looked really good. I've seen other people talk about it. So I put 2 in my cart and we'll see if I like it. I like the ingredients in this cream cheese. The ingredients are organic cultured whole milk, organic cream, and sea salt. So there's no gums or thickeners or anything, so we'll see how we like it. And then I really like this yogurt. We eat quite a bit of yogurt. It's been a while actually since we've had yogurt, so I just got one of those. And I like to get plain so I can put jam in as a way to sweeten it. Our favorite sour cream, I got 3 of these. I also got 3 half and halves for my coffee. And then here, okay, so I got the Rumiano's butter, just a few of them. If you've watched my Azure hauls in to you know I usually buy a case of those. Well, they have almost doubled in price. I used to spend around $65 to get a case of this butter. And I think when I checked when I was going to order this time, it was around $96. Don't quote me on those exact prices, but those are like rough estimates. So it's gone way up. I used to do all my cooking and baking and fresh eating of butter. I would just store it in the freezer and pull it out. Well, that price is a little too steep for me to do baking with it. So I bought a couple of them for when we have bread to put on our bread or biscuits, or when we want to be able to really taste the flavor, because this butter tastes incredible. It tastes so good. I can't emphasize that enough. But it's a little bit steep of a price to use this butter for cookies and baking and things like that. So I went ahead and I bought a different type of butter, and it's this Mother's Choice sweet cream, and we'll see if we like it. So I bought, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I bought 8 of those. So I'll just throw all of these in the freezer and then we'll eat them. So over here, these are some baby wipes. I have tried a bunch of different brands. These are my favorites. These, I went ahead and purchased a whole case of them. Now, this is a pantry item, and I am out of my sheets of parchment paper. And when I bought this, they were on sale, so I went ahead and got a whole case of them. And I wanted the pre-cut sheets because I got those as a gift in my P.O. box 2 years ago, and they have changed my life. So I just ran out of the small ones, and they had these on sale, so I went ahead and purchased a case. And when I opened the box, I was sorely disappointed because it looked like they were rolls. But then I opened this one, and you can see that it is a pre-cut sheet. So this is perfect. So this is the smaller size sheet. If you have seen me do any of my big batch cooking or any cooking really in general, I have 2 sizes. I have this smaller size and then I have a larger size. Azure does not sell the larger size, so I just bought a case of the smaller ones. I will put one of these boxes in this drawer right here. I'm actually going to be able to put it right in here, which is exciting. So let me do that. And how awesome is that? I'm still gonna need to order the large size ones, but I have some of those still. And so for now, I'm just going to put those downstairs, and when I run out of the big ones, I'll order some more of those. Now, this is something interesting that is brand new. I used to do most of my canning in, unless it was jam, really, I would can most things in quarts. And I have just found over the last year that a lot of stuff that's just too much for just Josh and I. So I have learned I want to start canning more in pints. And I used to be a canner that canned everything in wide mouth. Well, for some reason over the last year and a half, I prefer regular mouth. So Azure now has canning jars. I have never used them. I normally buy all my canning jars at Goodwill. Probably 80% of my jars downstairs are from Goodwill, but you can't always find them, and I need them for some projects coming up. This is just some of the tomatoes that I have, plus all the other goodies coming out of the garden. We did these over the last few days, and so you can see I'm using more of my smaller jars. So I needed to pick up 2 boxes. These were actually a really good price. You could get them with lids and rings. I don't need lids and rings, so I got them without it. And they were about $1-ish a jar. And at my Goodwill, jars are 49 cents, whether they're a pint or a quart. And I haven't been able to find any recently, so I went ahead and got 2 boxes because I'm gonna need them because I have so many quarts, but I'm enjoying pints more, so I kind of need to invest a little bit in building my pint canning collection. Now here is some simple coconut milk. This is a pantry staple. I only have 2 cans left downstairs, so I got 12 cans, and we like to make coconut rice with this. I make curries with it, and we just like to keep it on hand. So we got some coconut milk. And then here are just some more staples. I completely ran out of rice vinegar, so I got a rice vinegar, a toasted sesame oil, and some balsamic vinegar. This stuff, the Grand Reserve 25-star balsamic, is incredible. It's almost like a glaze balsamic. You know how you can buy those glazes? Well, if you look at the ingredients on some of those, they have thickeners and some weird things in it. This is just balsamic vinegar, and I'm going to show you how thick and beautiful it is. This right now with one of my slicing tomatoes and some basil and olive oil, chef's kiss. I could link this on Amazon too, but can you see how thick it is? It's almost syrupy. It's not watery like you think of when you think of just a normal balsamic or vinegar. So good. Salad dressings, marinades, drizzle it over fresh tomato, basil, and some mozzarella cheese. You're welcome. It is that good. Josh and I drink almost all of our coffee at home, and I have never tried this one before. I got the Love Buzz. When I was reading the descriptions, this one had the description of being kind of more of a medium roast. We prefer medium roast. It's a single source. It's a fair trade coffee. And so I thought I would give it a try. It's 5 pounds. Hopefully we like it. Normally I buy my coffee at Costco, but I don't have any plans to go to Costco anytime soon. So I went ahead and put it in my Azure order. We go through a lot of coffee. I was gonna say how much we go through, but I don't really know. I just know we go through a lot. And then this is also complete impulse buy. These were on sale, and I like myself some chocolate at night, so I bought a couple bars of these. I have never tried these before. I'm sure they're gonna be good. They're both milk chocolate. This one is milk caramel crunch, and this is just a plain milk chocolate. So for the price, I couldn't beat it. Normally Josh buys me chocolate randomly, but I thought I would buy myself some chocolate. Now here, I love this shampoo. I've only bought this one other time, and I loved it. I only used it 3 times. I used to go swimming once a week with my friend, and I left it at the pool and I was so sad. So I went ahead and got a couple more of these, just some shampoo and conditioner. The smell is incredible. They have a bunch of different smells. They have mango, I think a strawberry, and an apple ginger. The apple ginger is what I got last time. I really liked it, so I went ahead and got it this time. I would like to try the mango, but I really like the apple, and because I only used it a couple times, I was so sad that I left it at the pool. I went ahead and got myself some more. I also got a case of lemon juice. This is my favorite lemon juice. Let me see if I can open it for you. I like this lemon juice because the only ingredient in it is organic lemon juice, and when you're canning, you need to use bottled lemon juice, not fresh lemon juice. And I like this stuff too, even when I just don't have fresh citrus in my house. I try to keep fresh lemons and some limes in the house, but it doesn't always happen, so this is great in a pinch. The best price is when I buy a whole case of them, and it takes me about a year to go through that. During canning season, I can whip through a ton of lemon juice really quickly. And with all those tomatoes, I'm gonna be needing a bunch of it coming up here pretty shortly, and I just opened my last jar, I think on Monday this week. I also got 2 pounds of black pepper. I can go through one of these bags in 3 months. So this is about 6 months worth of pepper. You've seen me do this before. I put this in my blender. I blend it up into pepper powder, and it tastes like fresh cracked pepper, but I don't have to crack it all the time. So I am completely out of pepper in my house right now for the last week. So I'm glad to finally have that in my house again. Now this is a project we're gonna be tackling today, is preserving up this organic ginger. This is a fantastic price at Azure for this 1 pound of organic ginger, and I can't even get this in my grocery store, or I'm going to pay an arm and a leg for it. So I got 2 bags of those, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do with those. And then I said I wanted to try making bagels for the first time, so I got some everything but the bagel seasoning. I have never bought this before, and I'm really excited to give it a try. I have only heard good things about it. I know I'm like 2 or 3 years behind this trend, but today was the day to buy it. So most of these items are items that are gonna last me more than a month. We're not gonna go through that vinegar, either of the vinegars, the sesame oil, the coconut oil, the butter, the sugar, or the flour. I mean, most of this, the only thing we will go through, yes, those are dishes in my sink. It's food preservation season, and I just did a big project earlier today, so I didn't get to that, but I'll get to it this evening. So most of this stuff will last a long time. Probably the only stuff that won't last this entire, or the only thing that won't last for more than a month is the sour cream I'll go through, and the half and half I'll go through. The half and half is good until October 2023. So it is August right now, so I've got a long time. The butter I'll put in the freezer. Oh, and the yogurt. The yogurt will go through in the chocolate milk and the cream cheese. Everything else will last me a good long time. So it is time for me to start putting this away, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do with that ginger. Let's start putting this order away. I'm gonna put some of this stuff away in my main kitchen because it's things that I completely ran out of, and so that's just gonna get put away up here. But the majority of this stuff is gonna go down into the food storage room and or in my garage fridge. So I'm going to put these jars over on this counter, and I'm going to run those through the dishwasher because this week has been the week of food preservation. You can see over in the back there, those are just some projects we've got to this week, and we have more to get to. So I don't want to bring those downstairs because I know I need to use them. But I'm going to just use this basket as a way to put stuff away. So for the dairy products, I am going to keep 1 box of each of the butters in my main refrigerator, 1 thing of sour cream in my main fridge in the kitchen, and half and half along with the yogurt, because those are things that we need in this main kitchen. And then the rest of it is going to go out into the garage fridge and or freezer. I like to keep my butter in the freezer. I always like to have butter on hand, and it stores beautifully in the freezer. So that's what I'm going to do there. We got that taken care of. I'm going to now fill up the rest of this basket, and we're going to go downstairs and finish putting these goodies away downstairs. You can see that pile of tomatoes over there. I do end up tackling those tomatoes, and I get all of them off the counter, and then 2 days later I fill it back up. It has been a beautiful tomato year this year. So when I put these shelves in, I purposely didn't put them all the way back to the wall so that I could go back behind the shelves. So I had 2 cans of coconut milk. I'm going to push those cans forward. I can walk behind the shelving, and I'm going to put the other cans that I just ordered in the back so that I use up the 2 cans I already had first. That's been a really good way for me to kind of keep track of my goods and making sure I'm using them in the correct order. So now I'm going to get my lemon juice, and then these shelves, I bought them at Home Depot, and long term, I would love to be able to build some shelves for my canning jars, but that's going to be a big project down the road. So that's my 50-pound bag of flour. I put that in my freezer. I'm going to let that be in my freezer until I need it. Ideally, it would be in there for no less than 24 to 48 hours. That can kill anything that might be in there. And then you take it out of the freezer, you let it defrost completely for a day or 2, and then you can package it up. But I probably won't get to it for a couple weeks. So I'm just going to stick it in the freezer and let it live there until I need to package my jars up, or my 5-gallon buckets up where I like to keep my flour. And then I thought, since I'm putting stuff away, I might as well tackle all these jars. First thing I'm going to do is label them, because you think you might remember what's in them, but I don't. So here we have diced tomatoes, green beans, corn, 2 ways, and tomato jam. I'm going to keep some stuff upstairs. So these are what I'm going to keep upstairs. And then the rest of it is going to go downstairs. I want to keep some upstairs so that I don't have to run downstairs if I need it. Now the canned corn I have already tried, and we really liked it. It had good flavor. It's not something I would use to make like a corn fresh salsa or something like that,
but to put in soups and stews and cooked applications, it's really good. So I'm glad that I have a few jars on my pantry shelf. And then the green beans I have not tried yet, so that is still to be determined. I just harvested another variety of green beans, so I pressure canned contender green beans and jade green beans. I just harvested a basket full of Blue Lake bush beans, and I think I want to try pressure canning a couple jars of those and doing a taste test with all 3 varieties.
It feels good to get that project done. Or project, I guess it was a project, but to get all that stuff put away and in its rightful place. This is a crazy time of year, and we are adding one more project to the list. So let's go ahead and get this ginger washed, and I need to get all these cucumbers washed. So I not only want to process all this ginger, I want to process all these cucumbers so they don't go bad. I just washed all the ginger. I am gonna peel it, so I'll probably end up peeling it and then washing it one more time for good measure. But I think before I tackle that project, because that project's gonna take me a minute, I think I'm gonna get these cucumbers washed. I'm actually gonna tackle this first because this is gonna go a lot quicker and it'll just be nice to have one thing checked off the list. For the cucumbers, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get a cookie sheet out first and a piece of parchment paper. These are my big ones. I have finally another set of freeze dryer trays headed my way. I think I've been talking about this that I need to get more trays for a long time, and I haven't gotten them, and I'm getting them soon. But we are gonna pre-freeze this cucumber so that because my freeze dryer is running right now, freeze-dried cucumber is fantastic to make tzatziki sauce all winter long. We enjoy, well, I should say I enjoy pickles. Josh will tolerate a pickle, and we don't go through enough pickles really for me to pickle anything from cucumbers coming out of the garden. And cucumbers make a lot of cucumbers, or one cucumber plant can produce a lot of cucumbers. And so we eat them fresh, but that's pretty much the only way. And then I haven't really found a good way to preserve them other than freeze drying them for tzatziki sauce, and it is a fabulous way to preserve them. So I'm gonna get these pre-shredded and in the freezer. So when my freeze dryer is done running, I can throw in the cucumbers. My freeze dryer right now has zucchini in it. So when that's done, it should be done tomorrow, early tomorrow, because I pre-froze it. I'm just gonna get this on this tray and then we'll tackle the ginger. This is kind of a big cucumber. That's good. I just want to make sure it wasn't bitter or anything from it being too mature. This is heading into the freezer to pre-freeze before we stick it in the freeze dryer. So let's get to the ginger project next. I forgot that I bought at a local farm 3 massive bunches of dill that I want to freeze dry as well. So I need to get those processed. So I grabbed them out of the fridge so I wouldn't forget. Cheers. I got a carbonated water because it's already been a long day in the kitchen and I need a little pick-me-up. So I got myself a water. It was kind of funny. I haven't been buying them because I just was like, I don't need them. I don't need to spend the money on them. And I forgot. And I've been wanting them, right? Because it's kind of like my treat when I come in from the garden or when I'm doing a big project day like this. And yesterday I was cleaning up the garage fridge because it desperately needed to be scrubbed after I bought all that corn. I'm gonna show you a trick on how to peel ginger. For it. So I purchased 150 ears of corn from a local farm. That's where I got this dill from too. And the corn took up my entire refrigerator. I can insert a picture right here of what it looked like. And after taking all that corn out of the refrigerator, desperately needed to be cleaned. And so I cleaned it out yesterday, gave it a good scrub. And out of the corner of my eye, I look on top of the refrigerator and I see an entire case of carbonated water. It was like Christmas morning. I was so happy to see that. Last time we went to Costco, I think I bought 2 cases or 3 cases because they were discontinuing, I think, this package, and it's one of my favorites. And anyway, it's the little things in life, right? It was so amazing to see that. So after I was done cleaning out the fridge, I had myself a carbonated water. It wasn't super great because it was warm because it was in my garage, but I put the whole case in the fridge, and now I can have a cold, sweet beverage again. Okay, so what I did to peel this is I've got a spoon here. This is just a spoon. This, I have found the best way to peel ginger because it doesn't take as much of the ginger flesh off. It is a little bit of labor intensive, but you don't waste as much ginger than if you do it with a knife or you do it with like a potato peeler. I'll bring you down and show you. So you can see how thin you can get off just the skin. And I'm definitely gonna need to wash this again. We'll see how long I do this before I maybe pull out a potato peeler, see how much patience I have. But I'm just gonna sit here and get all of this peeled. It's gonna take me a bit, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do with it once that's done. I quickly gave up with the spoon. I think the spoon works nicely if you don't have very much to do, but since I had 2 pounds to do, I went ahead and pulled out my peeler and I got all of it peeled. So I'm gonna wash this one more time and then we're gonna process it. But I gotta clean up my mess here. And I'm not sure if chickens can have ginger. I need to Google that, if they can have ginger. There are things that are not good for chickens to eat, and I've never given them ginger before, so I need to see if I can give this to them. If I can't, I'll throw these peels in the compost. Oh, I had to put gloves on because I have some cuts on my hands and the spiciness from the ginger was causing my hands to burn. I just read that not only can you give chickens ginger, it's actually really good for them. So that and the cucumbers will be going to the chickens when we're done here. So now I'm going to process my ginger just like I processed the garlic to turn into those little garlic pucks. I think I'm gonna probably freeze dry some of it and see how that goes. But so many of you guys gave me this idea that not only is garlic a good thing to do in this method, but you do ginger this way too. So I thought it was brilliant. I want to turn this into almost a paste. Smells incredible. So that's the texture of it. It's pretty pasty. I've got my small cookie scoop and I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did with the garlic with the ginger. I think I'm gonna freeze dry half of these little pucks and see how I like that. But I'm gonna freeze the rest of them, but before I can freeze dry it, I need to freeze it anyway. So I'm just gonna get these in little pucks, get it into the freezer. And this will save me so much time. I did not come up with this idea to make these little ginger pucks. I had read this in the comment section on the video where I did the garlic pucks. So if you've seen any of my cooking recently, you see me cook with these little garlic pucks. All that is fresh garlic that I threw in the food processor, blended it up, used this cookie scoop, scooped them out and froze them just like I'm doing now. But instead of using ginger, I used garlic. And a few of you had given me the suggestion that that is a great idea to do with ginger as well. And I thought you all were brilliant because I love cooking with fresh ginger, but I rarely buy it because I know that it usually ends up in my refrigerator and it usually ends up going bad before I use the whole garlic root that I buy. So I thought, let's go ahead and go with your suggestion. And I'm so excited that I did because I now have the
the convenience of, dried ginger or ginger paste or whatever it might be, but with the flavor of fresh ginger. I think it probably took me about a half an hour to peel all that ginger, and took me no time to blend it up in the food processor. This second round here, I blended the ginger up a little bit finer, and it actually was better than the first round that I did because it kind of stuck together a little bit better. But both of them I've taken out of the freezer from the garlic pucks. The pucks stay completely together. There was enough moisture that I was able to put all of those in a bag once they froze completely, so that they are now in a freezer safe bag and I can use them whenever I need to. So here is the dill. This is some dill that I had purchased from a local farm. I had dill out in my garden and it didn't do very much. And we had preserved dill one other time in the freeze dryer, and it turned out just as good as fresh. I'm telling you, friend, a freeze dryer is your best friend when it comes to preserving herbs. It is so delicious. So I wanted to go ahead and get some more dill in the freeze dryer. One of my favorite ways to enjoy dill is actually in potato salad, a dill potato salad. And it can be very pricey to buy fresh dill in the grocery store, and this stuff tastes just as good as fresh. So I'm getting it washed. I'm going to put it in the freezer, and when the freeze dryer is empty, I'll load up this dill in the freeze dryer. But I don't have room in the freeze dryer right now, so as soon as I empty the freeze dryer, I'll load it back up with this, and we'll just continue the process. Josh just brought me in a whole nother basket of tomatoes and couple zucchini. So I'm gonna get these tomatoes laid out. I've got some tomatoes here that need to go into the freezer because they are really ripe and getting a little soft actually. So I wanna make sure that I get them in the freezer before anything goes wrong with them. And then when I have time to process a massive tomato processing, I've already processed a lot of tomatoes, but probably just to make sauce, then I can pull them out of the freezer and process them. So I like to lay my tomatoes flat out on a tablecloth like this, so when they come in, I can manage them really well. I can kind of just take my hands and feel and see if ones are like, this one is very, very soft, totally ripe, and I can just take the stem off and put it in a paper bag and throw it in the freezer. So friend, thank you for being here as we did an Azure haul. It's been a while since we've just done a good old-fashioned Azure haul, and we got some good projects done. We got everything put away, which is always a relief, especially this time of year. I think I might need to start, because I only want to do like maybe 4 pickups a year moving forward. Doing one in August is probably not the best idea. So if I could get a little bit more organized about that, I just needed flour. That was like the biggest thing. I'm almost completely out of white flour just with all the bread and recipe testing I've been doing. So it was inevitable. And then, I needed cheese and other things that I could just order while I was ordering. So all that to say, I was thinking I could be a little bit more intentional maybe moving forward, because I've got all this to process. It's not ideal to be then processing, or not processing, but having to manage the bulk stuff that comes into the house too. But that's okay. It was fun. It was good. It was a good day. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. If you want to see what I'm going to do with all of these tomatoes and all this garden fresh produce, please consider subscribing. I can also pop a couple of my other videos here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. And don't forget to check out the description box if you want to check out Azure Standard. And don't forget, my mom and I are coming out with an e-course on hosting, and that will be out before the holidays, so you have time to prepare and have a hassle-free host of the holidays if you're responsible, or just a Friendsgiving or something like that, or just having friends over for no reason. And hopefully will empower you to move forward with hosting. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.